So I was going to do a bit of a stealth camp at an old abandoned factory that I found on Google Maps. It looked a pretty sweet site. There was like woodland all around it and stuff like that. But unfortunately I've got here, and in the time that I've scouted it out and me coming to do the actual stealth camp, the land has started to be cleared, as you can see. Piles of trees. They've started, all the tree stumps have been piled up, they're cutting them all up and stuff. All this round here was like a bit of a woodland, and it's a shame because it would have been an awesome stealth camp in this little bit. You can see buildings to explore and stuff. I'm not actually going to go in those buildings because they don't look very safe now. Actually, it looks like they've been partly demolished, so I shan't be exploring those. There was some pretty awesome artwork on these buildings. There's like loads of, I mean, this is just like ordinary graffiti, but there's actually some pretty decent artwork in some of the buildings that I saw when I was researching this place. And it's just unfortunate that this has happened to it. This was an old coach works. I think it opened in 1890. This is where they used to build the coaches for the railway lines and stuff. As you can see over there, there's artwork, but this was all like a little forest. As you can see, with all the trees piled up, like a little forest at the side here. But they've started to clear everything. It's just a shame. I might be the last person that actually comes in here and sees this, because I think within a couple of weeks all this is going to be gone, and it's a part of Chesterfield's history, and it's just something we're never going to see again, you know. We'll have a look around and see what we can see if there's anything we can actually look at or anything. There's some like nice little artwork over there, look. Zoom in on that. Nope. That's it. Over there. But it's just a shame. So I've been wanting to do a site like this for ages, but saying that, I have my sights on another abandoned factory out in the sticks. That's going to take a little bit more effort to get to. This place was right on my doorstep. It would have been an excellent little stealth camp, but yeah, they've destroyed it. They've wiped it out, as you can see. That's where all the old railway coaches were made, in there, and it's just filled with sand. It's like they were doing a proper demolition job around here. These are the old railway tracks. The old railway tracks here. See them in a minute. These like railway tracks either side, look, where they would have put the carriages on to lead them out of this place. But maybe we can have a look down there and see what's in here. Yeah, these are the railway tracks. You can see them, look, where the railway carriages would have been built. It's just such a shame, because it should have been a heritage site really, and these factories built way back in 1890, and it's just going to be gone and nobody's going to know about it. This is probably going to be the last video of it before it's gone for good, and I'm privileged to be documenting it. As you can see how long the actual factory's been abandoned. There's actually trees growing inside these compounds in here, and that's dodgy up there because that's asbestos up there in the roof. So probably not wait around here too long. It's just like artwork like that that's been done in here that's going to be lost. And over there, and that is awesome. Document all of this. Look at that on there, that's amazing. Badger on the wall. Used to be able to walk around in there at one time. Obviously they've done all that, filled it with sand. I suppose it's going to be a conservation area or whatever, probably have like a little pond in it, which would be cool, but we'll never have the excitement of actually wandering around in an old abandoned factory. There's always something exciting about that, especially when you were a kid and you were walking around. It was somewhere you weren't supposed to go, and you used to go in there at night and have campfires. And see, there's a building over there, look. I was going to do, apparently there was a building over there, I think it's gone now. It was like they demolished it. It was actually one of the original factory bits, and it was supposed to be haunted, so I was going to do a little bit of a walk around in there and see if I could see anything spooky going on, but that won't be happening now. See, they've just been demolishing things and wrecking things, so yeah, there's actually nowhere to set up to camp because, like I said, it was like a sweet little wood where you could set up camp. Over there, you see, that was like all woodland over there in that bit over there, and that's where I was going to set up my tent and have a bit of a stealth camp overnight, but that's not going to happen now, is it? A lot of this place is actually gone. You can see they've actually demolished it. There's piles of rubble everywhere. So yeah, disappointed, very disappointed. So I might cut this short and I might go and do a stealth camp in the forest, which is over there. So I might come out of here and go do a stealth camp somewhere else because I've got all my gear and I'm not walking back now. So yeah, what a shame. Would have been an awesome little video, this. So daylight is disappearing rapidly. That's where I'm heading, up into these woods up here, and I'm going to do a bit of a stealth camp in this nature reserve. It's around here, this path, in there, up in those trees at the top. Like I said, daylight is burning, so I've got to get a shifty on and get up there before it gets dark. So it's a bit of a race against time now to get up there after being at that other place, because that was going to be my initial camping point in the abandoned factory, but unfortunately things didn't work out, which, as you veteran stealth campers will know, sometimes these things just don't pan out and you have to have a plan B. And I thought to myself that if I go in to this site and there's absolutely nowhere where I can pitch a tent safely, then I'm not going to camp there. I'll do a walk around, I'll have a look in the buildings, but this was my plan B, was doing a little stealth camp in this nature reserve thing. I did try and attempt this a few weeks ago, but it was just too cold, way too cold. I brought my son with me, and the equipment we had just wasn't up to the job. He was cold and that sort of thing, so we just abandoned it. We just said, no, that's it, we're going home. So rather than let it defeat me, I'm back to conquer it this time. I'm determined I'm going to stay out all night here. I've got the bivvy tent, I've got a tarp, so I'm going to set the bivvy tent up, put a tarp at the entrance So I've got like a little porch area to sit and cook and chill out a little bit and keep dry, because believe it or not, here where I live, it's been snowing for the past few days, and it's April, and that's pretty rare for this time of year where I am. So although it's not cold, I've got my shorts on. I've got shorts on. As you can see, it's not cold. I've got a top on, I've got a fleece on, but it's not that cold. So this is where I end it, because I'm gonna have to go up here in a minute. I'm gonna go up here into this little area here. So I will see you on the flip side, setting my tent up. So finally got the tent set up and everything, set how I want it. I'll show more of that in the morning when we can see it a bit better in the daylight. But I've just done some chow, as you can see. Just done some chicken and sweet corn micro rice, but you can boil it in your little stove thing quite well. And to go with that, we have some, where is it? Where are you? Oh, here we go. We have the most important ingredient. This stuff is an absolute godsend. You probably can't see that. That is Frank's Red Hot Sauce. Bit of this in anything and it instantly tastes a lot better. Anybody that's been out in the field, military wise, will know that to be true. Your hot sauce, you look forward to your hot sauce in your military ready to eat meal, because it just added that little bit of zing to it. While we're on the subject, right, I've seen a lot of stealth campers bad-mouthing the MRE. So the MRE isn't meant to be a gourmet meal. It's not meant to be, you know, Michelin style food. It's meant to be comfort food that you look forward to after you've been out on a patrol or you've been out doing a mission or whatever. And the comparison isn't there, because when you're out in the field and you've been out all day, you've probably been shot at. It's a little bit different to going camping in the woods and eating an MRE, because you get back and you're looking forward to it. It's a real morale booster. For me it was anyway. And I think some people take it out of context and say, well, these aren't very good. Out in the field you didn't give a shit, because it was the only luxury that you were getting. You look forward to your MRE. I know lots of soldiers, you know, didn't like MREs and stuff like that, but I personally did. I look forward to getting back off of a mission and having an MRE, real morale booster, taste of home, that kind of thing. So, you know, go easy on them, don't badmouth them so much. So I'm going to sort out my rice. There it is, look. Awesome stuff, just burnt my leg. That's never good. Is it warm enough now? Ah, it's warm. It's warm enough for me. Warm enough for me. Get some of that hot sauce in there. Straight out the pack. None of this malarkey of having fucking loads of ingredients. I don't get that. I don't get why people go out stealth camping and have loads of ingredients and start cooking like a beef stroganoff in the middle of the woods and that kind of thing. If you're going to go stealth camping, surely the idea is that it's stealthy and that you need to be able to move at a moment's notice. So cooking up a four-star gourmet, four-course gourmet meal in the middle of the woods, probably not very good if you're stealth camping. That's just my observation that I've seen of some people. So now I'm out in the actual field, I get to talk a little bit about what I'm going to be doing on the channel and that sort of thing. So regarding the channel, this isn't a bushcraft channel or anything like that, not by any means. You know, I'm just a guy that just enjoys going out into the woods, taking his tent, taking his tarp, his cooking stuff, and just getting out in the woods and just enjoying the great outdoors. You know, none of this whittling a wooden cabin out of trees knocking about and that sort of thing. I couldn't do that here in the UK anyway, because we've got strict rules about that sort of thing. So if you're ever thinking about coming over to the UK, this is to the people that are probably watching from other countries and that sort of thing. Now over here we haven't got any dangerous animals that you need to be worried about when you go into the woods. We've got no wolves, we've got no bears, we've got no coyotes, we've got no mountain lions or anything like that knocking around. So you can relatively go out in the peaceful knowledge to know that you're not going to be attacked in the night. However, we do have certain animals that can be aggressive, especially in the spring when they're having young. Now, I don't know if you have these where you are in your particular world. Maybe you have a different species or a different kind of this, but badgers can be extremely aggressive if you stumble across them and they've got young. I've personally been chased for half a mile by a badger, and it's not a fun experience, I can tell you. They've got pretty sharp claws at the front. If I think about it, I'll put up on the screen to show you what they're actually like if you haven't seen one before. They're actually quite vicious when they're protecting the young and protecting their badger sets, which is what they live in. They live in holes in the ground and that sort of thing. So when you go camping at night, you really need to make sure that you're not putting up your tent right in the middle of where badgers are, because that could really ruin your night fairly quickly. We do have poisonous. We have one poisonous snake over here in the UK, and that's the adder. It is venomous. It's not really deadly. It's not a life-threatening sort of thing. The only thing that it would really threaten the life of is probably a very young toddler or a very young baby, or the very elderly. Usually, you will be still very, very, very ill from it, but it won't kill you. Very rare cases, if you're allergic to the venom, obviously it will kill people, but just something to watch out for. It's mainly down the spine of the Pennine Way, Cumbria, that sort of way. There have been a few round it. I have seen one up at the woods I was at the other time I was doing a stealth camp in the summer. I did actually see one up there. So yeah, you've just got to keep your eyes out from. It's obviously the same in your countries, you know. If you see one, just leave it well alone. Don't touch it. Don't approach it. Just let it go about its merry way, sort of thing. But that's about it in this country. We don't really have free to roam. You can't really camp in many places in this country either. It's really a bit of a shit, really. This is why you've got, if you want to go anywhere, you've got a stealth camp and be, you know, very, very stealthy, because a lot of these places are patrolled by wardens and park rangers and that sort of thing. So it is pretty, not so much up here. You're pretty much okay up here at night, really, where I am. But yeah, just what this channel's about, just coming out and enjoying the great outdoors and that sort of thing. I've got some great sites I've been looking at to do. There's an old abandoned railway. There's and this is what I'm going to do when I get. I'm not going to take the tent. I'm going to take a what do you call them now? What are they called? The little beds. Christ, you can tell it's late, can't you? Cot. I'm going to take one of those. You know. I'll tell you, my mind tonight, it's just not there. The self-assembly cots that you can put together, they're pretty small, that you can put together fairly quickly. I'm going to take one of those, sleeping bag and maybe a tarp or something like that, and try and sleep in one of those. That's coming up when the weather gets a bit better, obviously. It's about minus 3 tonight, so people from Canada think, pussy, it's only -3. But there is actually ice forming on the top of the tarp and underneath the tarp now, so it is going to get fairly cold tonight. But other than that, it's sounds a pound. I've actually got some I've got some hot chocolate ready to go in a minute. I'm using the water that I used to boil the it's not wood. Let's have some of this. So this is like with the hot sauce in it. I normally put some cheese in these, but I didn't bring any with me. It's nice with cheese in, but it's good shit. Great with the hot sauce. Really good with the hot sauce in. Morning everybody. So I've just woken up and it's absolutely frozen outside. See the ice on the tent. It's frozen solid. frosty. I think it's down to about -3 last night. It's a widespread ground frost. So, it was an interesting night. I didn't do too bad sleep-wise actually. It was better this time. So now I've got a little mat in the. I've got a sleep mat. So that was actually, it made it a bit more bearable last night. But yeah, it was okay. That's my setup. This is the setup. As you can see, little bivvy tent. Punt thing on. The burner is on. Burner's on, and I'm going to be having some hot chocolate in a minute. So the order of business is to, once I've had the hot chocolate, I'm going to break down the tent. I'm going to take the top down first, then take the tent down, pack all the stuff up, and then we're going to walk out the woods, which is over there. That's the way out. So while my hot chocolate is cooling down a bit, it's a bit too hot to drink yet, just that. That's where I was. It's the campsite. Thought I'd show you around a little bit. Show you the area where I was. Look at that. The raindrops are actually frozen solid on the trees. That's how cold it got last night. It's really, really cold. And I really want to like get out of here before it starts to defrost, because that's going to be a nightmare if everything's wet. So I'd rather deal with that at home rather than try and deal with it here. There was quite a few animals out last night. I think a few badgers got close here. As a stealth camp, it's not too bad. You know, I deliberately put it behind that small hill to protect me from the wind and the rain last night, and the trees. You can see I've got trees on both sides, so there's not much wind going to come through. But yeah, it wasn't a bad night. It's not the best night I've had, and it's definitely not the worst night I've had camping in the woods. But definitely cold though, very cold. I might have to do a battery swap in a bit, but I'll try and show you this down here. It's a gorgeous little wood. It's gorgeous, but they just don't allow you to camp in it, which is like most of the woodland in England. You're not allowed to camp in it unless you've got the owner's permission. But where's the fun in that? Sunrise. There's a little track up here. Hope the camera battery doesn't die before we get up here, because a little interesting track. This is the way out, by the way. This is a little track. That's the way out. That was an old golf club, golf course across there. And at some point, I'm going to do a stealth camp in there too. But it's getting in. It's finding a hole in the fence, and there are regular patrols down there of security, so that'll be an interesting one. It'll be better in a few months' time when obviously the bracken is up, because that gives you loads more cover than at present. Because at present, you know, you can just walk through the woods and see anybody. You can't really see where I am. I'm over there, and even if you zoom in a little bit, you can't really see where I'm camping, because that hill is actually disguising where I am. So even if security came up and checked the gate, you can't really see me for those trees over there. So really, the only way you're going to find me is if you're deliberately walking over in that direction, trying to find me. You can't see me at all, and I'm just behind that hill down there. You can't see me at all, so Perfect little stealth camping spot that. But here, this is there's two, as you can see. One time you used to be able to walk straight through here into these woods and have a walk, but now, yeah, as you can see. The interesting thing is, the woods over there, if I was to go over the fence there and walk into those woods, there's actually nothing stopping me from camping in those woods, because there's no signs up, there's no saying please do not camp here or anything like that. But there's no fun in that. There's no fun in that. There's no adrenaline. You know, there's a chance you're going to be caught doing this type of, and that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun, isn't it? That's why we do this shit. That's why we do this stealth camping. It's the threat of being caught doing it and trying not to get caught whilst doing it. That's the incentive for most people doing this type of stuff. That's awesome. That's awesome. See that? The sun over there looks amazing. Sunrise is awesome over there. And it's the peacefulness of the woods, and it's just being out in the great outdoors, because lots of people have lost touch with this part of their lives. You don't really see many people doing this sort of stuff anymore, just going out and just going wild camping and just relying on their skills to survive overnight. It just doesn't happen anymore. We used to do it all the time as kids. Kids don't do it anymore. Kids don't go out in the woods, get a campfire going and camp out in the woods and have a laugh with their mates anymore. They don't do that sort of thing. It just doesn't happen. And it's such a shame that that side of society has been lost. Yeah, that's why I try to take my son camping with me, to like reintroduce him to this sort of thing. But yeah, that's the way out. That's where we will be going. Down there. And it is white over there. You can see all the frost on the hills. Absolutely white over. You can see it down there. I can't really get through here. I can see it on the hills over there. I'll zoom in a little bit. It's absolutely white over. Widespread frost last night then. Right, I'll leave it here, and next time I'll be talking to you, we'll be walking out the wood. Right, so, all packed up, heading out to the trees, and on my way home. Solid. Still frosty, still very, very frosty. Zoom in on that. This is where you've got to be careful, because this is where the rangers might be doing their morning patrol. And this is what might get me in the shit. Be a little bit careful. Just coming out of the forest, gotta be careful, and it's really slippy. And there's the fence. Let's go down here. Some really weird trees, amazing trees. The way they grow, spooky, especially at night. There's an issue, you see. There's actually a public footpath at the side of this thing. So when you're coming out, you've got to be careful. I'm going to go over this fence. It's going to be fun. Right, so I'm going to leave it here. This is Dark Night Camping with a stealth camp. Don't forget to like, share, leave a comment and subscribe if you like my comment. See you later. Yip yip.